is Eddie Nestor's Drive Time, weekdays from 5
on BBC London 94.9.
Now, we always like happy stories here on Drive Time. But it is Rare Disease Day, a day which aims to bring these stories of those desperate and often isolated people living with little-known and often fatal diseases. Now, one of those people is 9-year-old Maya. Maya is from Northolt, and she recently received, get this, a kidney transplant from her father, Marek, after being diagnosed with a rare blood disease called aHUS. Now, Maya, by the way, and her dad are recovering well, we are told, but we can get more on that from Mum Sylvia. Good evening to you, Mum.
Good evening, good evening.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Oh, so daughter's got a rare illness and Dad steps in to give kidney, so there's got to be a time when they're both going through treatment that your heart just must be beating out of your chest.
Yes, it does.
How difficult was it?
I mean, I would have to really go back in time to start and tell you how it all, I mean, when it all started, when she was 4 years old. It is a horrendous disease. She started basically with high temperature. She was a bit yellow on her face. She was vomiting. And we've ended up, I mean, as a parent, you know, straight away that something is terribly wrong. We've ended up in a hospital, in a local hospital, and she was diagnosed back then with hemolytic uremic syndrome, which is associated really with bacteria like E. coli 0157. Then she was transferred to Great Ormond Hospital, and it was confirmed that she has the atypical version of aHUS, which is hereditary condition. And the disease is in itself, it's very complicated, but just to explain it in simple words, it causes small blood clots to form in blood vessels and throughout the body, and they lead to strokes, neurological complications, and most often to kidney failure. So then the disease is really horrendous, and it causes really poor life prognosis. And
when did the idea of Dad donating a kidney come up?
About 2 or 3 years ago, Maya basically, despite at the time when it happened, Maya had multiple plasma exchanges. There was only supportive treatment, and Maya ended up with kidney failure very quickly, within 2 or 3 months of developing the disease. It's basically known that there's 90% chance of the disease coming back, so no one would attempt to actually undertake the transplant. We had to wait for almost 5 years actually to have the transplant available. And it was done last year. Maya and father have incompatible bloods, so our fantastic Great Ormond Hospital had to come up with another new treatment of washing up the blood to have this transplant possible. So the whole surgery took place in October last year.
And both are doing well?
They're both doing very well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What a great story. Oh, and thank you for telling us about it. We do like a happy story, and the reason we're covering the story, as well as it being fantastic, it is Rare Disease Day, a day which aims to bring the stories of those disparate, often isolated people living with little known and often fatal disease. It might be something you would like to look up.